Okay, in this week's course update video, I'm sharing with you everything I've been learning so far about building a personal brand. Because Backpack on Fire, though it's all about travel and adventure, it's really all about my style of traveling and living an adventurous life. So I'm really building a brand around me as a traveler. Okay, so I really wanted to be able to film outside today. Once again, it's super windy, so hopefully you're hearing my voice all right. Sadly, my external microphone died on our last trip, but I really wanted to be outside today because I wanted to be here with the lilacs and film in front of them before their season ended. So let's give this a try and see if it works out. So I've got a few different courses that I'm going through right now, and I'm trying to line up the similar things that they're teaching me so I can be learning one piece at a time. So we started off with personal brand, and what that was really looking at was about growing a following and the right following so that you have people interested in the same things that you are and you start to really understand your audience. That seems pretty straightforward. But that also meant that I have to figure out a niche, and this is the hardest part for me, to be honest. So we're going to be spending way more time on it over the next few weeks because though I'm talking about travel, I'm really struggling to narrow it down, make it unique and specific to me, but also sort of get out there into the competition that exists, because for the past 2 years I've been kind of just doing a little bit of everything, and that really hasn't worked as well as I'd hoped. So don't worry, we're going to talk about niche a lot more in some upcoming videos. Now, in addition to building a following, what I was learning about was all of this idea of creating influence. So again, you need that niche, you need the right people following you, and then you can be sharing your advice and thoughts and even suggesting things to people. This is kind of the part where you actually get to start hopefully making a bit of money, which so far my money's coming from Patreon, which you guys rock and I appreciate it, but I want to be able to obviously expand on that and grow a bit more. So there's this understanding of I need to build what they call influence. I don't necessarily have to become a full-on influencer, but I definitely need to build some influence by really being specific about what I'm going to be talking about on my YouTube channel, my Facebook, my Instagram, anywhere that you see Backpack on Fire. So a lot of what I was learning in these courses was about you just got to get started, and I totally get that. I remember before I put up my first YouTube video, I was so hesitant. Well, I want to learn this first, and I want to learn that first, and I want to get this camera gear. But if you never get started, you never actually start to get better. And so even though I'm filming on a cell phone again, which is how I started 2 years ago because one of my more recent GoPros and my external mic both broke on my last trip and I haven't yet gotten them replaced, I still have a bit of a better understanding of how to film in front of a camera. I feel a lot more relaxed, so I've definitely learned something. So I get it. You just got to get started and jump in. Okay. Now, one of the things that I was told that if I really want to start to build that following, specifically on Instagram and on Facebook to help build my YouTube channel, on those platforms, you kind of have to show up every day. When I'm traveling, this is totally fine. I can find a way to post something every day, at least an Instagram post. Stories, I still haven't become really great at, partly because I film everything in landscape, just like this video. And so to then also have to remember to film something in portrait, to put it on a story, becomes a lot of work. So stories have been a bit of a resistance for me, but don't worry, I think I've come up with a solution. Now, of course, I'm not traveling right now, so the idea of posting every day has been a bit difficult. Do I just go back and pick some random photos from previous trips? I definitely have a lot of those. I've been traveling for almost 2 decades, so photos isn't an issue, but there was really no point behind it for me, and I really wanted to find a way to be a bit more intentional with posting every day while I'm here at home. So after going through these courses and playing around with some ideas and throwing a ton of things up on a whiteboard, because this is how I like to do mind mapping and just get my ideas out there, keep adding things, mucking with it, playing around until I find something I like, what I've decided to do is to start building and working upon something I was already doing on my Patreon, which was using some hashtags that were designed specific for days. So for those of you who've been following for a while, the first one you know that I ever used was Film Fridays. When I started traveling, I was doing little video clips every Friday and sharing those on Instagram. And those obviously grew and expanded, and now every video I post on YouTube comes out on Friday in celebration of Film Friday. And those people who are supporting me on Patreon get early access to those videos and get to actually see them on Monday. So they have a movie Monday. So I wanted to fill in the rest of the days of the week with some sort of hashtag that could connect with both the fact that I'm doing courses right now and the travel that I want to still be sharing and exploring in that theme. I needed hashtags that worked with every day. So here's what they are, at least to start. For Tuesdays, we are having Tidbit Tuesdays. So this is a chance for me to share maybe a fun fact, something interesting I've learned, really just a little piece of knowledge that I want to share with all of you. Next is Wanderlust Wednesdays, which the theme for that will probably change every month, but right now it's about looking for ideas and inspiration for when travel starts up again, and also building up a bit of community with other people who are starting off and are still early on just like I am. Then my Thursday one, you already know this one because it's used everywhere, but it's Throwback Thursdays. I mean, why not? A bunch of people on Instagram voted that they wanted to see more travel videos because though I started doing a bit of IGTV when it first came out, I paused on it mostly because I film in landscape, and when they first started, everything had to be portrait. So I'd have to film the whole video, I'd have to use a software to rotate the video because I couldn't upload it unless it was rotated. Oh, it was just, let's just say, a lot of work. Plus there was a lot of limitations on the size and the length of the video, some of which still exist, but they were a lot trickier for me. So I kind of gave up with IGTV, but I want to jump back in there. So what I'm doing is going back, formatting, making those little changes I need to make, but now that IGTV is much more user-friendly for landscape people like myself, I'm going to be doing a throwback video every Thursday on IGTV. So it might be one that you haven't yet seen, it might be one you have, and it'll just be a fun flashback, but there'll be a video up there every single week. And so we already had our movie Monday, we already had our film Friday, so now we're looking into the weekend. And Saturday was when I played around with a bit, and I finally settled on what's called Selfie Saturday. But don't worry, it's not what you think, it's not just gonna be pictures of my face. Maybe a few. But the selfie part is actually going to be about self-reflection and self-care, because I've noticed in the past few months this is where I've been struggling the most, and I want to make sure I build it into my week to make sure I'm taking time to regenerate myself, to take care of myself, and relax a little. So I'm going to be sharing with you how I do that both right now while I'm not traveling, and show you some of probably my favorite self-care tips from when I am traveling. And then that leaves us with Sunday, another one that you probably are familiar with. Fun Day Sunday, also sometimes called Sunday Fun Day, but I liked Fun Day Sunday just to be a little bit different. And once again, this is about the weekend being a bit more for me, and it's about right now local adventures. We can't go really far, but there's still a lot of fun to be had in our own backyards. And so my goal here is just to share with you what wild thing I've been up to that week, whether it's actually happening on the Sunday. Mostly it will be because I'm still teaching online full-time during the week, but some sort of adventure from that week just to keep things fun, because hey, all of this though, this is a business and I'm building a brand and it's a job. The whole point of leaving the 9-to-5 and leaving the corporate world was about living life on my own terms, traveling the way I want to, and while I can't travel the way I want to internationally right now, I definitely can still do it here domestically. So I'm going to be sharing that with you in hopes that it inspires you to do something locally too while still staying safe and keeping your distance. So you will have noticed that I'm already trying to play around with these hashtag days, and I really wanted to get better at doing stories on Instagram and Facebook, but I want to be able to do it in landscape. I know I don't have time to go and film and shoot everything again in portrait, and so that's why I came up with doing these sort of fun stories that are using these templates that I have created. So I hope you've enjoyed them. I wanted them to be really colorful and fun and exciting, and to give you a little insight into what is going on with me right now. So do let me know what you've been thinking about them. Just anything in the comments below. Are you liking them? Is there something you don't like about them? Do you think I could be doing something different? What's been your favorite? Really, I just want to start a conversation. This is a path that I'm going down, and I hope just by watching this video you learn something or get inspired to try something out too. So, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for taking the time to continue on this journey with me, and I will see you next week as we dive more into figuring out my niche. And of course, a huge thank you to those of you already supporting me on Patreon, because without you, this wouldn't be possible. So a big shout out to my individualized Inferno patrons, Carol, Wayne, and Allison. A shout out to my Campfire Stories patron, Louise, and as well a shout out to all my Torchbearer patrons, Cheryl, Matt, Christy, Josh, Gwen, Micaiah, Evelyn, and Callie. Thank you, you all rock so much. It's getting hot out here. Bye.